Hi, folks. Here we're going to run through the week 3 personas lecture as promised due to all of the noise and kerfuffle that I had in my home this week. So what is a persona? So it's the voice of the actual user. So persona is a representation of a typical user of your website. Using a persona in the design process puts the focus back on the user, aka your target audience. So 3 main categories of personas. There's marketing ones, proto personas, and design personas. Marketing personas focus on demographic information, so mostly and strictly about their buying motivations and concerns, shopping or buying preferences, their marketing message, and their media habits. They're good for determining what type of customers will be receptive to certain products or messages, or for evaluating potential ROI of a product, ROI being return on investment. Design personas focus on the user goals, so their current behaviors and their pain points. So that would be like, like your usability testing. Where are those pain points? Where is there issues type thing? Pain points as opposed to their buying or media preferences and behaviors. Design personas are good for communicating research insights and user goals, understanding and focusing on certain types of users, and defining a product or a service. Last but not least, we've got proto personas. They're an educated guess of who those users would be, and are used when there's no money or time to really create a true research-based persona. So generally, there's big companies out there. They will go and do all the digging, all the research, and create the actual personas and figure out who the target is. You end up with a big giant binder of market research when, as the lecture states, when there isn't enough time or there isn't the budget to do that, because it can be quite the costly process. It's up to us as an expert to think about our actual product, and then we create these personas based on our own knowledge and our own expertise. So why do we create personas? So personas can be used to validate or disapprove design decisions. They allow us to vet and prioritize feature requests. They're good. Personas are an inspiration and ideation. So with personas, we clarify who that ideal customer is, what their current behavior patterns are, what are the needs and goals of those users, and what issues and pain points do they currently face with the given context in comparison. So if we're doing a persona for a brand new grocery store app, and we need to think of the personas that are going to be visiting that grocery store app, we would perhaps go and research existing ones out there so we can figure out, when I use this grocery store app, this is frustrating for me and I don't like how this works, or I actually really like how this works, etc. So how do we create them? So just like anything in design, we start sketching. So a great way to create a photo persona is to start by sketching out categories to help define the user on paper. So we sketch, file statistics, and a short biography. We've got some personality, motivation, goals, and frustrations. Sketch the user. So you can sketch and or use stock photography. I have noted not to use cheesy imagery. I know that's a gray area. Trying to find maybe some modern looking photos versus the really posed like images that we kind of sometimes immediately think of when we think of the word stock photo. So include visual details about the user, helps generate a picture of what they look like. The clothing they're wearing, the items they're holding, their facial expression, etc. So then we've got our vitals and our biography. So we include our demographic information, the basic stuff, age, gender, etc. We've got geographic information, where they live and work, what it's like there. Is it rural? Is it a big city? And last but not least, just a little paragraph of what this person does. Maybe it's their hobbies, maybe it's things that they enjoy or how they mostly spend their time. If someone in a bio notes that they spend all their time, working on their hobbies, working on their business, they have, 3 extra side hustles, they obviously probably don't have a lot of time to be spending on their phones or spending on these apps, etc., for instance. Then we talk about things like personality. So the personality of your user can utilize infographics like charts to help. It's just a nice visual way instead of bullet points or instead of a paragraph of text, just kind of using our sliding scales. So we think of what we would want to include in our personality. Then obviously we do opposite ends of the spectrum for introvert, extrovert, and then we can just slide those scales across to where we feel that that person might be. Try to include aspects of their personality that are relevant to the product or service you're working with. So making sure that if it's, well, give it up. As most of you know, if it is for a food ordering service, you're going to want to talk about things that within their personality that relate to perhaps food. Maybe it is an introvert, extrovert, do they like going out? Do you like interacting with the people at all, etc.? User motivations. So what motivates, user motivations help us prioritize the user in regards to how they interact with your website or application. Helps with determining interactive design decisions, their price, their familiarity. Maybe they like to receive points or rewards. And then goals and frustrations, always important. Basic guidelines for interaction experience. So include what the persona expects, what they really want to do, what they don't want to do, their goals. Spend less time booking travel. Frustrations, the opposite end of that. Too much time spent booking travel. A busy person. Maximize loyalty points. Too many websites visited per trip. So they want to make it quick and easy. That kind of relates back to one of the goals, etc. So thinking about it in that sense, when we're doing goals and frustrations, you can kind of essentially do the opposites. So working through some examples, these are great for some design inspiration because we are designers and these are to look very nice when we are presenting them to a client. We want them to be impressed. We want them to, you really want to sell them in the sense of this is a real person that I have come up with and this is what they're all about. Sorry, there's some sound here with my dog. Again, I'm not going to go through all these too much, but what I will note most of all when reviewing most of these examples is the grid-like format. So we've got 3 columns and then we have some rows. So everything is aligned. That's key as well. Everything lines up with something else. The information is broken into nice, clear buckets. There's some nice graphic features and there's text, not too text heavy where it's daunting. Breaking things up sometimes into bullets is good. And then having a little fun, perhaps with some iconography is lots of fun. I do, and I have mentioned this a couple of times, I do not feel these are very strong designs. I feel the images are dated. I feel that there's probably too much attention to the visual, not enough alignment. They're a little bit all over the place. I would use this as an example of do not do. Another great one. Here's a good one showing that you can kind of outline one and then you can apply that same type of design, but perhaps just move things around a little bit and apply new colors. Saying that is creating more work for yourself. So I would suggest you create one and then just apply it to the others. A few more examples, and then a good persona will help you understand the user's personality, behaviors, attitudes, needs, challenges, pain points, goals, and motivation. So creating personas helps you aim and shoot a particular user you are targeting to use the web product. You're using these to show your client. So perhaps your client is a big, giant company, big, giant corporation. Maybe they're the owners of, a big, giant food chain, but they actually never eat there. they would not be a persona that would apply to them, or they would not be a user that would apply to the product. So this is where you're going to create these personas that show that, say, CEO of the company, of the people that are actually visiting, because now then you in fact use these personas and then apply them to your design. It helps you sell your design. It helps you rationalize your ideas, rationalize your placement, etc. And last but not least, a few resources.